Now that we are all here and we have a gavel, I'd like to call this meeting of the Mount Lebanon Commission on July 14th to order. Let's stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Manager McGill, would you mind a roll call?
Thank you, Mr. President. Commissioner Flynn.
Present.
Commissioner Izzo.
Present.
Commissioner Petty.
Here.
Commissioner Swager Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Siegler.
Here. All right, and Manager McGill again, announcements, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier tonight, Commission met in discussion session and received information to discuss the following items. We heard an overview of the activities of the various municipal boards from their commission liaisons. We had a policy discussion regarding the appropriate and safe use of AI to improve the delivery of municipal services and heard some examples of how the municipality is currently utilizing AI. We'll have more on that as we move further into the year. We received information regarding the costs and considerations to move sanitary sewer collections in-house. We reviewed the current priority ranking of future areas for consideration of the sidewalk expansion program. Prior to the discussion session, the Commission met in executive session to receive legal advice from the solicitor on a variety of topics. The next meeting of the Commission will be held on July 28th. That meeting will begin at 8 p.m. in this room. Here are the ways the public can participate, either in person, you don't need to pre-register, simply show up at the appropriate meeting time and sign the sheet at the back of the room if you wish to speak during the meeting, or remotely via the Zoom webinar format. Again, you don't need to pre-register, simply click the link located on the meeting agenda on the municipal website. If you wish to speak during citizens' comments or during public hearings, simply use the raise hand feature on Zoom and you'll be notified when it is your turn to speak. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Manager McGill. Vice President Flynn, would you mind sharing with us community highlights?
Thank you, Commission President Siegler. Congratulations to Mount Lebanon's Inside Lebo podcast, which just hit 10,000 downloads. You can check out the podcast on the lebomag.com website and on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. They're short, they drop twice a month, and they give you another way to peek inside the operation of your hometown. Here's to hoping we see you on Friday, July 31st for the second installment of our Final Fridays concert series. Up this month is Modern Rock, the Modern Rock of 59 Watts. The fun, free, family-friendly evening is from 6 to 9 p.m. in Clearview Common on Washington Road. Consider coming early for dinner and shopping in Uptown before joining a couple hundred of your closest friends and neighbors for the show. Summer storms and road construction can lead to inconvenient closings as well as important safety messages. Make sure you are signed up for Lebo Alert by going to mountlebanon.org. You can choose the category of alerts you want and update them at any time. And finally, it is the height of outdoor recreational fire season. If you're going to burn wood in your yard, please do it safely. Our fire department has a list of tips and laws for safe burning on our website at mountlebanon.org/firepits. That is FIREPITS. That is all I have this evening. Thank you, Commissioner President.
Thank you, Vice President Flynn. Before we get to public comments, I wanted to make a statement on the deer management program. I wanted to take a moment to address our deer management program since it draws public comment fairly often, and I believe the record deserves to be clear. This program isn't new, and we don't take it lightly. We've tracked deer vehicular collisions since 2013 using the metric recommended by the Pennsylvania Game Commission, which focuses on real community impact rather than trying to count an ever-moving herd. Since our archery and sharpshooting programs began in 2015, we've removed 1,060 deer over 11 years, and this past season alone removed 113 safely and under strict oversight from our contractor, Suburban Wildlife Management Solutions. The results speak for themselves. Using a conservative linear estimate, our efforts have cut deer vehicular collisions by roughly 40% compared to where they were at our 2016 high water mark Using the more accurate polynomial model, the reduction is far larger. Translated into dollars using state and insurance industry data on the average cost of a deer vehicle collision, this program has saved our residents somewhere between $1.6 and $22.6 million since 2016. The program itself costs about $3.68 per household per year. It's not just about cars, though. The Parks Advisory Board formally endorsed this program because deer are actively destroying our street trees, our forests, and our understory vegetation, degrading land that took decades to establish. Our own forestry and invasive species management plan recommended increasing harvest quotas for exactly this reason, and it identified $770,000 in future costs just to protect plantings from deer damage if we don't manage the herd. And for anyone concerned this is wasteful or cruel, over 15,000 pounds of venison from this program have gone directly to food banks and soup kitchens in our region, providing over 70,000 meals to people who need them. Compare us to communities without a program. Bethel Park saw dead deer pickups more than double ours before starting their own program in 2023, and their numbers have already begun to improve since they did. It's not a coincidence. It's the same trajectory we saw here a decade ago. This program is data-driven, professionally managed, fiscally responsible, and it works as the numbers clearly indicate. Thank you, Ian, for putting together this information. All right, for public comments, first up, Colonel Hoon. Please state your name and address. And Colonel Hoon, last time you wrapped up by calling us all stupid, I would ask that you be respectful with your comments.
What was that, the last thing you said?
You would refer to it, you had said, are you all stupid? Now, we don't all have to agree on everything, but please be respectful.
I always have to. Bill Hoon, 456 Coolidge Avenue. I don't know what you read, but the fact is the data shows that deer vehicular collisions are directly related to speed of the vehicles. And you kill deer at speeds of 50 miles per hour and above. And also, deer are learning how to deal with vehicles. I have seen it myself. Other people have asked me about it. They say that they have seen deer walk up to the road, look both ways, listen before they go across. I saw a female on scrub grass with two little ones walk up to the road, kept her two little ones behind her. They were about 10 feet back. They did not move until she looked back and started to cross the road after she had looked both ways. So they're learning. They're also learning about the hunting thing, which you may not be aware. They're adjusting their hours so that they are out there feeding when it's safer and they don't have boneheads out there with guns ready to blow up everything. Okay, that's the way that works. So if you're condoning speeds in Mount Lebanon of 50 mile an hour and above, you've got it. That seems to be what you're after.
Where do we have any roads that are more than 50 miles an hour?
What's that?
Where are the 50-mile-an-hour roads?
We don't have them. People are speeding through this township, Commissioner. In case you're not aware of it, there was somebody clocked on Washington Road at 71 miles an hour a couple of years ago. There are people speeding through this township constantly. And what kind of control do we have? You blame deer for getting hit by speeders. Wonderful. You understand?
I don't think people speeding means that the commission condones speeding. You're making a leap.
Well, okay. If speeders are killing deer and you are going back and saying, dead deer mean that deer on the road are a risk, I can tell you from personal experience that it's not the deer that are causing a problem here. I've nearly been hit multiple times on Mount Lebanon roads purely because I use those roads. That's it.
With all due respect, the plural of anecdotes is not data.
All you want is research data. Well, let me tell you, for years, we had people researching deer from one end to the other, coming up and talking to the commission about this. And when the commissioners brought up something like, well, they're crashing cars right and left, they're maiming and killing people, that's total crap. It's not substantiated by research. So, and we've gone through all of that, you know, the exponential growth of the deer population in Mount Lebanon. Garbage, total garbage. No mammalian population grows exponentially. It's never happened anywhere on the planet. But the commission took that and ran with it. Sure, we got to kill a deer or we're going to die under 100 deer, 100 feet of deer. That's garbage. We would love to have you people come out and talk about the actual research. There was one commissioner who did. Kelly Frax. She researched everything the commission came up with, and that's why she was totally against it, because she said it was all garbage. Keith Mulvihill said, do you have any idea what this is going to cost? He wasn't just talking about the money. He was talking about the reputation of the community. People out there that have any idea of what Mount Lebanon has done with the deer think we're all stupid, because they have deer too, and they don't see what you claim.
Thank you, Colonel Hoot. Dave Egler.
Dave Egler, 121 Poplar Drive. I'll get to another comment here in a minute. What I wanted to discuss this evening was related to, prior discussion related to delinquent sewage collection. I think Finance Director McCreary and updating information, it's been a while. I was heavily involved with that. I hate to admit how long ago this started, but my first job here, first task, was to get rid of the collector for delinquent sewage. Hate to say what year, 78, 79 timeframe, because they weren't doing the job at that time. They were doing a poor job of collection a whole bit. My task was to find an alternative. And at that time, we went to a company called SBC, Service Bureau Company. They did the processing, kept the records, sent us the bills, and we only collected delinquent at that time. Alcosan did the current billing and anything that wasn't paid. Had very good attorneys at Alcosan back in 1949 when it all started. They had guarantees from all the towns to pay the bills, whatever was delinquent. And at that time, the delinquent collection was done by Jordan, of all people. That was who we had to replace. Glad to see they got their act together now. And we went to the Service Bureau. We had them for a while. And then through the 80s, and I don't know if this is still in place or not, but Alcosan came up with an Alcomates program. They did the billing, they kept current and delinquent within the billing. And that's when we added our charge to the bills at that time. That process didn't work out very well. In theory, it was really nice to have. You know, they had the information to build, but it was just poor access and the timing, as was stated. You had bills going out, and it was taking like 9 months after people were moving, and it was just a real pain trying to collect. So we were with the Alcomates. That was not working. That went into the 1990s, and we struggled through that decade collecting delinquent collection. And then, and this is the question I'm going to have, I think it was in the year 2000, we got met with, and I was involved with this, of course, Pennsylvania American Water. They did the billing at that time. The collection rate skyrocketed because it was part of the water bill. Therefore, the people were paying it regularly. And I don't remember exactly what we paid them to do the collection at that time, but that was a great service. If my memory serves me correctly, we were with Pennsylvania American Water until like the fall of 2012. and for whatever reason, they canceled. I think I was told that, quote, they weren't making money. Well, I mean, if you're not making money, you know, you raise the fees and you go with it, but I think Mount Lebanon, I know they needed other communities to join in, like Upper St. Clair and other communities in the area, which worked out great for a number of years. I don't know if that is a possibility again, to check with Pennsylvania American Water, because for them to get the water information to Alcoasand and pass it on, there's a time delay, and it was a pain. And having it all in one bill from Pennsylvania American Water was a really great system. So I don't know if that's out there or not. As far as the Alchemate program, if we were to do the delinquent in-house and have them do current, I don't know if that would work or if that's been checked or not, but just a couple thoughts that I'd like to share with you from the history and what was good and bad. And yeah, I can sympathize with the finance department. That was just a royal pain, and the calls we would get and the aggravation. And we did water turnoff back in the day and liens, and it was just not a good process. So, like I said, hopefully that's all working out. The one thing I wanted to say at the beginning, which I didn't want to say while Colonel Boone was here, if you could, I appreciate making that comment, and I don't know if you're aware, he couldn't hear any of it.
Yeah.
His hearing's getting worse, so when you have that problem in communication, then things go awry and you have problems. And I could see that and I can observe that. If there's some way, I don't know if he puts an email address down on there, if you could email
Yeah,
him
I
what
can.
you
I
read
will. Thank you.
as as a courtesy, we'd like to send it, because I see it all too often. He's not hearing everything, and then he gets angry, and you guys, and I don't like to see that. I just like to see good communication, and that's why when you call him every time, I have to turn to let him know that you're calling him. So I'd appreciate if you could send him something, and just understand that, I mean, I don't agree with the issues myself, but I do understand there should be respect both ways.
Understood.
Thank you.
Comments are appreciated. Thank you, Mr. Egley. All right, any additional public comment?
Anybody online, Nick?
Nobody has their hand raised.
All right, excellent. Item number 3, Commissioner Petty.
Mr. President, consideration of the minutes from the adjourned meeting held on June 23rd, 2026. I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item number 4, Commissioner Swager Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a public hearing for ordinance bill number 5-26. At the April 14th, 2026 meeting, the commission introduced ordinance bill number 5-26 to amend chapter 20 of the municipal code zoning to define smoke shops, permit them as a conditional use in the C2 zoning district, and establish use-specific regulations. The planning board reviewed the ordinance at its meeting on April 21st, 2026, and June 16th, 2026. At the June 16th meeting, the planning board recommended adoption of the ordinance amendment.
All right, would like to open a public hearing on this ordinance. Is there anybody, we don't have anybody listed, but anybody like to make a comment on this particular piece of legislation? Anyone online?
Nobody online.
All right, then we will close the public hearing. Okay, item number 5, Commissioner Izzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction of ordinance bill number 6-26, amending the park rules to regulate the use and operation of e-bikes. The proposed ordinance regulates the operation of e-bikes in municipal parks and on municipal property. Regulations include a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit, helmet requirements, a yielding to pedestrians requirement, and a requirement to stay on pathways. The proposed ordinance also includes a parental responsibility provision. I move to introduce the ordinance bill number 6-26.
Excellent, thank you, the Commissioner Izzo. We will set a public hearing for July 8th, 2026. Sorry, July 28th, 2026, thank you. Excellent, excellent. All right, item number 6, Vice President Flynn.
Thank you, Commission President Siegler. Consideration of the award for professional services contract for construction management services for Phase 1 of the Mount Lebanon Library improvements. Requests for qualifications were received on June 15th, 2026 for construction management services for Phase 1 of the Mount Lebanon Library improvements. The RFQ required qualifications and fixed fees for pre-bid and bidding services and an estimate of fees during construction. 3 submissions were made with fees for pre-bid and bidding services as presented on your screens. The library staff, project architect, and municipal engineer have reviewed the proposals and conducted interviews of RJS and Massaro, and based upon the qualifications criteria, recommend the award of the construction management contract for pre-construction and bidding services to be awarded to RJS Construction in the amount of $11,000. Mr. President, I move to award a professional services contract for construction management services for pre-construction and bidding services for the library improvement project to RJS Construction in the amount not to exceed $11,000.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries, and we are adjourned.